Golfers, welcome. Today is all about how to practice correctly. And over my 50 years of playing, competing, teaching, and coaching, learning how to practice correctly to build really good habits, provided you're working on the right things, but to ingrain those new feels into solid habits is critical, and having the right mindset is very important. And so for that, I came across this great article. This is an article, I Did It, So Can You. This is by Tiger Woods in May of 2006. It was so good I laminated it. In fact, I'm going to read verbatim what Tiger says here. Now, this is obviously in his prime time. He's winning everything. Making changes to your game takes good direction and a strong will. During my first swing change, I can remember practicing a single move, swinging the club halfway down, keeping my arms in front of my body for more than an hour without hitting a ball. I felt like my arms were going to fall off. Let's just stop there for a minute. Making changes takes good direction, so you've got to really have faith. You got a lot of confidence and trust in what professional you're seeing to take lessons from. And then he says you got to have a strong will. Because anytime we're changing habits, whether it's on the course or off the course, changing habits is tough. But we're not just changing, we're trying to improve. We're trying to have better habits. And so the strong will is required, because in those first few days, first week, we're gonna feel like, oh, this is really hard to do. You got to stay with it. You got to just fight through that temptation to quit on it. Stay with it. Because I look at it from the big picture. Hopefully you're going to be playing this game for a lot of years. And if you're young, you're going to be playing for a lot of decades. So if you look at it and say, okay, if I could just invest a few months into just continually refining my fundamentals, it's going to make the game so much more enjoyable. Now, he continues. Later that year, I was grinding through a practice session when all of a sudden I felt the change in my swing. I could repeat it over and over without having to think about it. So let's think about what he just said there. Later that year. That doesn't mean next week or even next month. That's months. For him to be able to all of a sudden feel like he could swing and repeat it and he didn't have to think about it. Now, we're talking about Tiger Woods. That human with that level of determination, talent level, work ethic, that body, and that mindset. It took him months to get it where he didn't have to think about it anymore. Now that's amazing. So for all of us mortals, and especially for you recreational golfers, you just have to really make sure we keep this in perspective. What is the most important thing that my coach, the person that you trust, have confidence in? What's the one or two things that I can work on for the next few months that's going to help me get the biggest bang out of the buck to improve my game and enjoy the game more? And so that's a human thing. It takes time to acquire new skills. Far too often younger people, they who've grown up with the internet and just think, well, geez, I should be able to get it like that. It's that thinking that it should come quickly that's what's wrong. Anytime you're trying to improve your mind by getting smarter, or your body in better shape, or any kind of, let's say, physical skills, motor skills, playing musical instruments, there's no cheating that. You have to put in the practice, and you have to do good practice. There's no way of getting around that. And for a very neuroscience background, that's just what the brain requires. You have to do practice correctly over and over and over to have that become a habit. So now I'm going to take you through what I work on. And I've got a couple, three things that just want to keep cropping up that give me troubles. One is I tend to want to, when I take it back, I tend to get a little up, get a little lifty with my right arm, and then it tilts me over, and then I want to lean. I want to kind of get after it a little bit. My arms tend to get a little flexed, a little too tense, and I want to just get after it, and then that causes this dragging of the butt end through the ball, and there's just way too much space here through the ball instead of kind of down and in. And so the red flags for me, when bad patties showed up and I'm going off the rails, I start hitting it thin heel. Then I know it's bad pat's back. So when I'm practicing, and it's very important, just like Tiger said in that article, when he first started, he was swinging the club, feeling his arms in front of his body for more than an hour. Now, just imagine doing that. That'd be a long hour, just doing rehearsals only. And so when I'm practicing, my thing is I always like to set up so that the toe of the club is just on the very inside part of the ball, because the bottom line is I get in here and jammed, and I start going out a little bit. Again, thin heel shots, no good. So I like to set up with the toe just on the inside of the ball. Good takeaway, where I just feel my chest is just guiding my arms and the shaft back. I'm rotating away, not lifting like I like to. So here, and then I'm just letting my arms and the shaft follow my turn. Now from here, it feels like my head is staying way behind, and I'm going to just rotate my right arm, turning the butt end in, and I have to miss the ball. That's telling me it's coming more in. And I feel like my right arm is really rotated past my left quad. So that's what I rehearse. So when you're practicing, it's so important to do 2 or 3 rehearsals at first, to focus on a specific feeling, not 2 and 3 feelings, 1. And that's plenty. And so you got to just be very focused on one feel or maybe an image. I like to just see it, and then when I see it, I can get the feeling. So again, and this is my own little way of making sure, by having the toe on the inside half of the ball, I have to come in. So again, the shaft of my arms are just following my turn, like so. I feel like I'm staying back, and then now feeling the left hand rotating the butt end, my right arm is straightening and rotating. That is such a key feel for me, while my head stays back. It literally feels like I'm doing this, like I'm here and I'm going like that. That's what it feels like. Now, I'm obviously not doing that, but sometimes it's good to have an exaggerated feeling, because if this is where our bad swings are, right here, the real bad ones, and then this would be the extreme, the exaggeration of the drill, or the new feeling. Well, when the ball shows up, or when we're doing the rehearsals, we want to feel like we're kind of moving away from obviously what the bad is, and slowly moving in. And so the more we do these rehearsals, the more we're going to start moving in, and it's going to lead to better golf swings, better shots. So that's why sometimes if you're watching golf on TV, sometimes players, you'll see them do an incredibly, what looks like just a bad rehearsal, but they're doing that for a very specific reason, because it gives them an exaggerated feeling. So here I am again, one more time. Arm shaft just following my turn. My head just stays there. It feels like I'm behind it. I'm turning the butt end in. Right arm's rotating by my left quad. That is the feeling. And then I'll just do some little swings like this to really feel it. Now, when the ball shows up, I have to go a little slower. And the important thing is I'm staying focused on the feeling. The ball's getting in the way. If your mind switches to a ball, the old habit's going to kick in. And that's the challenge we all fight there. So we have to go slow enough. I had a neuroscientist tell me, when you go slow, your brain learns fast. When you go fast, your brain learns slow. Okay, so here I'm going to feel like I'm going 50%. I'm going over that left basket right there. I got a 6-iron. Just feel. That was really a good shot right there. Great trajectory. And to me, it felt like I was way over here. Now, I probably wasn't, but at least I'm moving in that direction. So that's the message. And you want to try to follow this routine. It doesn't matter what you're practicing. Bunker shots around the green, chipping, pitching, whatever it is that you need to, whatever your number 1 or number 2 are to improve your ball striking to play better golf, this is generally how you want to practice. 2, 3 rehearsals. Go slow. Ball shows up, always wants to make us go faster. Go slower than the rehearsal. Keep your mind on the feeling. And then what's paramount is patience. You know, there's just early on, there's just going to be that frustration because we want to go back to what's comfortable. Keep the big picture. I'm going to be playing this game for a long time. A few months isn't going to kill me here. And do that during the off season. That's when athletes really work on their technique, is in the off season, not when the season hits. So use those off season months to do the work. That's when you get after it. Okay, please leave your comments, questions, suggestions down below. Until that next golf shot, be patient with yourself and enjoy the process of improving and getting better.